thinking about it. It becomes addictive, I would say.
And there's, to me, there's good addictions.
If you are just doing it for money, for profits, or any other interest, you're gonna feel it. And that's the kind of people that you're gonna attract.
Whether it's running or it's something else, make sure you find the community that you not just identify with, but that they're united in the same direction. I think that's what makes Run Club, for instance, special.
Relationships need to be something where both ends are constantly feeding each other. Strict with your purpose, strict with the fact that, look, you didn't know how many years it was gonna take for your ventures to be what they are today.
Right.
But you did it anyways, and you kept going until we reached this point where Miami is the hot spot. I would say, I'm not sure if globally, but at least in the United States, this is the spot to be right now. And you not only see this by us, the locals, saying we are the spot, but the people who are moving from places like New York, like California, like Boston, who are moving here. And they want something, a pattern that I realized people from moving from this city had, is that when they move to Miami, they're expecting to have the same kind of experiences they had over there. So this comes with another question of, now that the Miami Marathon, and it could be the community as well, the running club and the Miami Marathon are where they are today. How did this new trend of moving to Miami throughout the entire United States, because of the laws, because of the pandemic, you name it, how were you able to keep up with the demand, with the overwhelming amount of people that are coming here and looking for experiences, in this case, healthy experiences like running? How were you able to sustain and embrace that demand?
Well, it's, I mean, the race in particular sells out now. So I can't say we've met the demand, because the demand's exceeding the capacity exceeds the demand. But there are other events. I'm associated with a number of other events, whether it's airport runway 5K on the actual tarmac. We had one in Opalaca recently. We have one out in Tamiami Airport out in Kendall. We've got there's run clubs. I've got almost 8 of them, and then there's another 30 to 40 other groups that have filled the need. And so I don't think Miami's going to quite, meet all the demand that is coming our way. We're doing an okay job. It's kind of like, playing whack-a-mole, where, the demand comes up, somebody fills it, and then the next, group demands more or demands something different or better. So it definitely, like you said, it is a place that everyone wants to be at. There was a time where everyone that was here wanted to leave, and I hope we don't get there again. We got some struggles here. We got some struggles with traffic. We've got some struggles with arguably affordable housing. We got some issues headed our way, and I hope running could be part of the answer as to why people want to stay here, why people want to raise a family here, why people want to bring their companies here, and if running can be a small piece of that, I'm glad to be a part of that, and hopefully it inspires other types of communities, whether it's another sport or another hobby or something like that.
And you mentioned that as well. Not even other communities in different aspects, but I think your work, it's been inspiring other communities within the running community.
Sure.
Because before, when I recently moved here to Miami, I didn't see as often the running communities. Now I could see a lot of running communities, small, medium size, that are like very, very connected and I have a friend who is he's a physiotherapist. He started a running the Miami running
Good.
community as well, and he just did it because he wanted to help people. He wanted to be able to have a place where
Yeah.
he could vent stress and meet new people.
Yeah.
And
Look, your viewers might not understand this about these running communities we're talking about, but the cool thing is I would say the majority of them, if not all of them, are free. They don't require any real commitment other than showing up. So these organizers, these personalities that are behind these different groups, I think are just passionate, caring, ambitious people that are really making Miami a better place. They're making people's lives better, whether it's in Miami or somewhere else. And so, yeah, if you have anybody that's watching is like, all right, how do I tap into one of these running communities? I promise you, of all the 30 to 40, 50 groups, and groups that we don't even know of, because there's some neighborhood groups, there's some, a few friends that gather, you're going to find, you may have to jump around a little bit, but you're going to find one that, is close to you or you identify best with. They have some of the similar interests, because it's not just the running, right? Like people, there's fast groups, there's slower groups, there's a mix of the two. There's groups that meet early mornings, there's groups that meet at midnight. There's a late night menu crew that meets, they start off meeting late. So you have all these different groups that exist, just like the community is very diverse. Well, the community of runners is also very diverse.
I look, and I think that's that's when you are leveling up as a city. When you realize that you have a space for everyone. Literally, everyone could feel at home here because you're gonna be diverse. You're gonna have every single one of the groups that you mentioned right now. Every single person has at least one of those traits. At least they do one of those things. So when you have a place where you could feel you're gonna satisfy those internal demands, it's inevitable that you're gonna make that place your home. You're gonna feel like home. Now, going a little bit more into the personal, because I understand that when you're managing a community and what we mentioned, they see you as a role model, and when you're leading the groups and the Miami Marathon, everybody is looking after you. I know the amount, and I could just feel the amount of stress and emotional demand that might take from you. How do you cope, and or how do you balance your personal life and you separate your personal life from Frankie Ruiz, the role model, the leader of these communities? How do you place a limit and live your life, and you're like, you know what, the communities are amazing, you love them, but you're a human being and you deserve to have privacy first and then a life, of course. How do you manage that?
I can't say there's a definite line, because I do my best. I prefer, rather than the word balance, I prefer to use the word blend. I do my best to blend the two in the most healthy way possible. It's not easy. I you use the word role model, or the term role model, and I don't take that lightly, because I'm a coach. I have high school kids that I coach. I've got my 5 and 3-year-old. I've got a ton of nieces and nephews and young people that look up to me, or at least look at me. I don't know if they look up, but they look at me. And I don't want to live two lives either. I don't want, like, hey, you know what, here's the community life, and then when I go home, I'm not the same person, right? Like I do try to be the same person you see out screaming, and organizing 800 people on a Tuesday night. I try to be that person at home also. I'm not screaming at my kids like that, but I'm saying in general, like the same energy, the same values are still present. I still care for, I still try to teach my kids the same things I'm trying to instill in those around me, and I'm learning from them. And the same thing, I try to be the same person 24 hours a day. Not easy, you know. Sometimes I have to be reminded that, all right, you're not at run club right now, you know, or you're not in front of 600 people at the start of a race. Sometimes even in my sleep, I pretend to be directing a race. But some of the things that I use that, if you want to call it, relieve stress, or at least kind of help me recharge. I love the Everglades. I love taking my family out there. My wife and I love going to islands in the Caribbean, so I'll do that to get away a little. But I never stop thinking about Miami. I never stop thinking about the community. Never stop thinking about the next race or the next run club or the next workout or any of those things. And I think a lot of people, everyone functions differently, but a lot of people think that you have to like stop thinking about your work at some point. And I don't know, I haven't ever been that way. And I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I've just always been one of those that I've sort of accepted this notion that I like it so much that I'm always thinking about it.
Thinking about it. It becomes addictive, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And there's, to me, there's good addictions.
Absolutely. And yeah, that's the point. You know, they're going to be, if you're addicted to a purpose, if you're addicted not only to a purpose, if you're addicted to helping people, because that's the reality. You mentioned that when we were talking about the communities and how these communities, they're not only passionate, but they're passionate about changing people's life.
Yeah.
Because when you get somebody in shape, when you get somebody to be better,
Yeah.
when you get somebody to be healthier, you are changing their life. I don't know if you have experience being on an unhealthy pattern, but I used to be overweight. I used to own a coach. I've been fit my entire life, and then I moved here to America.
Mm-hmm.
And America, you know, you gotta be a lot careful of
Yeah.
what you your intake. I wasn't. So I was just trying to manage, you know, immigrating, being something in this country, building a career. So I neglected my health. And obviously, when you're young, it's easy for you to neglect your health because you're living in an abundance mentality. Like you're young, like what could possibly go wrong? But a lot of things went wrong. So there was like a turning point where I was like, you know what, bro, this is not the lifestyle that I wanna be. This is not the lifestyle that I want to embrace throughout my entire life. So I just want to reach a point like my grandmother, that she's about to turn 90 and she's perfect. She's not fit, like she's not doing exercises a lot, but she takes care of what she puts in her body, and it's been always very diligent with the amount of food, the quality of the food, etc. So I started applying that, and I went back to find my balance. And being in that pattern gives you another perspective of, it's like a survival mode. You are at some point you become addictive to being healthy, and you start doing it not only for the looks, because it's obviously good when you look at yourself in the mirror and you like what you see, and fitness and a healthy lifestyle will give you that, definitely. But it becomes addictive because it's a constant reminder of, you don't deserve to be in the position that you were, where you were completely out of your comfort zone. Not only your comfort zone, you were out of it completely. It affects your concentration, your focus. It affects the way your mood. It affects everything. The quality of your life, the relationships with people. It affects everything. So I feel that's those are one of the few good addictions that you will recall. And the addiction of falling in love with your purpose is something that few people will understand. And it's something that is just, you try. You really try because I know I feel you. Sometimes you don't want to think about it,
Right.
but it's like it's your lifestyle. It's no longer your work. It's just it's who you are,
Hmm.
and taking that from you, it's gonna be like you're gonna grow some resentment, and you're gonna be like, I don't wanna be outside this. Like I wanna be thinking about this. Like I feel joy
Hmm.
by thinking what's the next move. I feel joy by thinking what's gonna be the next workout, how we're gonna do something different, a different
Yep.
experience for the people on the marathon, or the running clubs, a new
Yeah.
location or more people, you name it. There's always something next, and that I think is absolutely necessary if you want to build a business, a
Hmm.
brand, a community. You need to be involved with what you're doing. Otherwise, people are going to sense it. They just gonna feel, if you are just doing it for money, for profits, or any other interest,
Yeah. No,
you're
for
gonna
sure.
feel it.
For
And
sure.
that's the kind of people that you're gonna attract. So when you do something out of love, out of passion, you are going to attract people who are into love and passion. And I feel that's something I had on the different times I went I went actually to the Brickell Running Club,
Nice.
because it's the closest one. But and that's the one that blows your mind,
Yeah.
because the amount of people that you see over there is like, wow, like this is great. It's great that people are taking care of themselves. First off, it makes the city look amazing because everybody's looking awesome. You know how Miami is, like everybody's top of the notch, like dressed perfectly for to run, and all the good gear and everything. So I don't know. I find that inspiring. Now the present, the present with the demand and the new being diverse brings a new set of challenge that I personally have experienced, because I feel before Miami had a more Latin American vibe, now, and Caribbean. Now it's it's coming together like the blend of their real American roots and traditions, and people who are coming from different states to the city. How how are you implementing that diversity, and how have you target that new kind of people into feeling, you know what, this is my place as well, other than obviously the same purpose, which is running? But what kind of differences? I haven't asked you if you participated in other marathons in other cities, but I'm guessing yes,
Yes.
a bunch of times.
Okay.
So what are the key differences right now with the Miami one from the other ones?
Look, I've been to quite a few, and um, New York definitely compares, but there's something special and warm, literally and figuratively, there about how Miami allows you to retain your colors. Um, there's something that Miami has, either because of its history, because of some of its leaders, because of its timeline, its youth to a certain extent, because it's not an old city, at least an old modern city. The idea that here you can wave your flag across the finish line, or as you're